My name's Robbie Walsh. I'm the Executive Director of Bike to the Beach. I'll be the one talking throughout the presentation. All of the participants are on mute, but feel free to interact with us through the group chat application. Ben Daly, one of our founders and Director of Operations, will be answering all of your questions through the chat function as we go. At the end of the presentation, we'll also have some time to have a little question and answer, but feel free to type them in as we go. And in between most of the sections, we do have what we consider impact slides, where we talk a little bit about our impact in the community. And we also use that as a time for you to ask any questions about the section that we just covered. So please feel free to type those in as we go, or ask them at the end. Ben will be there typing those responses. Hoping this presentation lasts about a quick half an hour. And if you have any questions or anything more extensive after that, feel free to give us a call or shoot us an email, and we are happy to answer those questions. Just to give you a quick insight on who we are and what we do as Bike to the Beach, our mission is to improve, inspire, fund, and shift kind of the national dialogue on autism and intellectual developmental disabilities. Improving lives in really tangible ways, inspiring people both on the autism spectrum and in our communities to take on new challenges, whether that's biking to the beach, joining new social events and kind of stepping out of their comfort zone. Hopefully that the events we put on can provide and fund some sustainable solutions through our local partners and Autism Speaks nationally. And finally, just to shift the kind of national perspective on autism to something that's more positive and more full of possibilities and the potential of all individuals, and less about mitigating difficulties that individuals have. What we're going to try to cover on our agenda here is just a few volunteer basics, go through kind of our larger volunteer roles, RESTSTOPS, chase cars, ride marshals, then talk about a few important locations that we have throughout the event. And as I said, we'll wrap up with a few questions and answers. So first we'll start here with our volunteer basics. As far as dress code goes, wear something that is weather appropriate. For a lot of your positions, you'll be out in the sun for a portion of the day. With tents, you'll be helping riders, some of you changing flat tires, some of you setting up food, helping set up or break down events. Please wear things that are appropriate for the work that you're going to do, and dress weather appropriate. Try to be identifiable if you came from one of our partner groups, whether it's a local partner or one of our national partners, a team or group that we partner with. You're all incredibly important to us. We love sharing your stories. Wear something that lets people know where you came from. They like to hear your stories as well. And finally, especially if you're at a rest stop and you have a theme, something to add a little bit of life to that stop for our riders, dress for your theme, of course. Be on time. It's really important at our events. We have the event as a whole will take a little over 125 volunteers. Our riders are coming through at a pace that they need to kind of keep up at. It's a long ride for them throughout the day, and throwing in any kind of hiccups or things that are behind schedule really kind of throws off the flow of the event and really challenges them in some unpredictable ways. So please make sure that you're on time. Let us know if for any reason you're running late. A lot of times you can scramble some people to help with a certain situation. Be informed. We provide a lot of written materials that you'll find in some links that we'll share, but also on site, whether you're a chase car, a ride marshal, at a rest stop, at any of our locations. We provide a lot of material about the event as a whole, most of which we'll cover here tonight, but also some smaller detail that's just specific to your location. Make sure that you read through it or familiarize yourself with important numbers. And then finally, just have fun. Great event for a great cause. The riders are pushing themselves. They can use a little pat on the back and a boost. You should be there with some friends. You're there to help the community, to make a difference. So embrace that. Enjoy the day. The more fun you're having, the more energy you give our riders, the better off we'll be. The schedule will work. The start, the kind of ride, the safety briefing will start at 4:50. The ride begins at 5. We do the Bay Bridge transfer from about 6 to 8:30. Our finish line will open sometime around 11:30, with volunteers kind of helping get stuff up, as of 11. At 5:45, we do a big group photo, champagne toast, and Bike to the Beach performance, song performance. We'd love all of you that are part of our event. After you finish your location, come on down to the finish line and enjoy it with us. You are a big part of what we do. Even if you're just stopping by for 10, 15 minutes, it's great to kind of celebrate the end of that event with you and to come together as a community to kind of respect the impact that we made. 6:15, we have the finish line closing up. Bike racks, equipment will be broken down. We'll start loading the buses at 6 and hopefully get all the buses out and back on the road to the start line by 6:15. So all of your kind of roles and jobs should fall somewhere within that scope. That should give you kind of a picture of the overall event and the day. To give you an idea of the overall kind of structure of support, we'll touch kind of heavily on RESTSTOPS, ride marshals, and chase cars. We also want to bring to light that we do have mechanics along the route and at a lot of our major locations. Start World War II Memorial, Chesapeake College. They're there to help change some flat tires. For mid-complexity stuff, we might ask you to help shuttle a rider up to a rest stop where they can help with things like wheels or brakes, and shuttle some riders around for some major issues. As far as EMS goes, we'll touch on this throughout the presentation as well. In the case of a true emergency, always dial 911 first. We have notified all the jurisdictions that we're in. They should be ready to prepare to respond. They're pretty much the fastest responding medical unit we can get there. We do have our own EMS team that we have that is through supports the event. If we need consultations on certain things, as we coordinate medical responses, they'll be kind of called in for those situations. And medical situations that are non-emergency, we'll definitely get them on site to help with. And first aid, we do have first aid kits in all of our chase car bins, as well as with our chase cars. Small things, scrapes, band-aids, things of that nature. Feel free to take care of, but also please note kind of in the injury report here. And then finally, we do have police throughout the event, particularly at major intersections, to raise awareness for the event and slow traffic. If available in both cities, we'll have a police escort as well. We're respecting the kind of major metropolitan areas we're in, and those police forces support us as much as they can. But at the same time, we realize that, given the ethnicity and the nature of the area, sometimes they need to go respond to other events and circumstances. Important numbers that you can even take down now. For the basics, we have, myself, that's the event director, Ben, who is the dispatch, who's, the person to reach out to for, most bike and mechanical issues, and small volunteer needs. And then Ray McQuill is our medical lead for non-emergency medical consultations. So any situation where you want somebody to take a look at, one of our riders, you can give him a call, and he's great at responding. Take a pause there, and if any of you have questions on just some of those basics, as I said, we'll cover a lot more later on, but those of you that don't have questions, it's great to take a second and reflect on the impact we're trying to make. This slide comes from one of our local partners up in Glen Burnie, Maryland, Rise for Autism. They do incredible things in that community. One of the great things they did the last 2 summers is a bike camp to teach individuals on the spectrum to cycle independently. I think we've all kind of had that feeling of freedom and fun that comes on a bike, the feeling of inclusion when you can do that with friends and family, and the way that they host the camp and do all the work that goes into it. We're really proud to partner with them to give them that opportunity. Now we'll get into a little bit more of specific roles. The first of those will be rest stops. When you're at a rest stop, you have kind of four main goals. One, to check in riders. We'll have a check-in sheet with all their rider numbers on. As riders come through, all you have to do is cross off their numbers to let us know that they came through the stop. Get the water on ice and keep that water nice and cold. The riders need it throughout the day, and spread out the food so that all of the participants can see it. Try not to open multiple boxes of the same food at the same time. We try to prevent waste whenever we can throughout our event. So open up a box or, our like you need to open up 8 of them at once. And as they get eaten and consumed. Social media for the day. Our riders are hot, they're tired, a lot of times they're sweating. They love getting their picture taken. They're really proud of the event. So offer. Don't make them come over and ask, and at the same time, they appreciate it. The more that you go up to them as they come in, ask them if they want to take a picture, not only will it make it a memorable event for them, but it also helps in fundraising for us throughout the day when people are posting and adding that to their social media as they go. Finally, we do have cue cards from your rest stop location to the next rest stop location. Make sure that you're handing those out to riders as they come through. Give them another source of directions, as they will have on their GPS on their phone and turn signs, but it's kind of critical to give them overlapping methods of directions. At rest, you'll see a big black bin along with the equipment, the tables, chairs, tents, the coolers that will be dropped there. Please open a purpose from zip tie to sunblock tubes to help people change tires, body wipes, paper towels, food, Sharpies. Please open and go through that bin pretty much in its entirety to make sure that kind of all of the useful and relevant items are out and available for riders to use and for our volunteers to use as they enjoy it. In the bin, as I said, you'll find the cue cards. You'll also find a binder. In that binder, will have basic information about the rest stop, important numbers that you may want to call or use on the day, a checklist of things to do, making sure that you set up your rest stop properly, what you should be doing during the rest stop while it's in use, and how to break it down, how to use certain items in case you find it hard to identify them in the bin. As I said, rider check-in, data collection sheets, some inventory of what you should find, total queues, and some reimbursement forms. Please familiarize yourself with everything in the binder, and a lot of really useful information. Some of it we hope you don't have to use, but all of it we would like you to be aware of. What to bring? If you are a rest stop, bring a theme. It's always more fun when our rest stops kind of have a little spirit. If you do have, if you are talented, cooking or baking, or in your local area you have any particular small treat that you like, we provide a wide variety of food at all the rest stops, from salty snacks like Cheez-Its and Goldfish to power and energy gels, to some more substantial food at certain rest stops. But it's always great when it has a little bit of more homey and personal feel to it. So if any of you kind of have that gift, please share it with the community. If you do have ride-related items, there will be a bike pump in the bin and things of that nature. But anything that has to do with cycling, if you have a bike rack, it's always good to have. And make sure that you pick up. If you do have a speaker, a portable speaker, please bring it. People love music, and throughout the day, if you can kind of keep some music going, either on a portable speaker, they always kind of enjoy that as they can hear it as they approach the stop. At rest stops, here's kind of just a picture of what a general rest stop kind of looks like as it's set up. You can see the tent, the banner behind it. On the table is the food, the cooler to the bottom right. Some volunteers and some people. So from a group we work with in New England, the Crossroads School. As you can see, they're wearing T-shirts to make them identifiable in a way that helps participants engage with them and learn a little bit more about some of the organizations that we're trying to impact. or the different teams or groups that we partner with. At the rest stop, as I said, there'll be bike pumps, sunblock, body wipes, first aid, and more. If you have any questions on that, feel free to kind of type them in now, and we'll hopefully get to them. If not, you can read, a little bit about one of our local partners right here in DC, Keen. They do, incredible, engaging activities, for people on the spectrum, that really kind of brings out kind of different social, motor skills and interactions that we've really seen, a great impact on a lot of people's lives in the way that they, develop, start to look forward to those social interactions, and then take them away from the different camps, and things that they do to use the same social skills and interaction skills in other arenas. If you are a chase car, goals here, familiarize yourself with the maps and the context before the start of the day. The more familiar you are, you can download our Strava route as well. Make sure you familiarize yourself with all the directions. The less you have to think about that as you're driving and working and helping riders, the more that you'll be able to kind of be alert and be supporting on the ride. If you see a rider at the flat, if you see a rider that's struggling, of course, one of the primary goals is to stop, see what kind of help they need, whether it's a spare tube or a bottle of water, or even need to be picked up. We want you to make sure that we know, every instance when a rider stops throughout the day. As we go through the day, we might have a situation where we want to move food forward throughout the event. A rest stop might be running low on ice. A number of situations can occur. We might ask you to run, given items up or back. And then finally, we ask you to try to help manage the whole ride and not just a group. It's really tempting as you get to know certain riders throughout the event, or as you come with friends to the event, to kind of really focus on just that group. We really ask that you try to spread out, throughout the event, and really kind of traverse wide swaths of area. And trust us, you'll end up running into that group a fair amount, and you'll have a much more engaging day if you do engage with the ride as a whole. If you kind of just look at the group, you spend a lot of time waiting at rest stops or slowly driving behind people. And there are other people that may need your help, a few miles up or a few miles back. So please try to circle, the designated areas that we talked to you about. What you'll have, we provide a bin with duct tape, rope, box cutters, tire irons, a car flag to make you identifiable. And again, we provide a binder that will kind of have a timeline for your car, important numbers, 10 things to kind of keep in mind, and the cues for the entire event. So you should have a small bin with things that you can use, and then you'll have a binder with some information. Make sure that you bring a car charger. The day will take a toll on your cell phone battery. If you do have a bike rack, we definitely recommend that you bring that. It can make it a lot easier as you shuttle riders up and back if they run into any issues. And make sure that you bring a small cooler if available. As you carry water, different things throughout the day, it's always better if you have a small cooler to keep them cold, or to be able to pick up some ice as you pass a store so you can bring it to a rest stop. Next category is ride marshals. Sorry, I put that slide before it, but we'll take a break here just to see if you need to have any questions covered regarding chase cars. This is another one of those slides that I love. This is a family that we've grown really close to as we've thrown our event each year. Watched her grow up from being a 5-6-year-old now into a wonderful teenager. And as her older sister was going to prom a few years ago, she had really worked on her communication skills, and she typed out, why didn't she have a prom? And it was a great kind of point that, both for her family and for us community, brought to light the way that sometimes we look to mitigate difficulties that the children are facing rather than provide them opportunities to be excited about. Her younger sister took on the challenge of helping get that ball rolling. Kenny Krieger School kind of worked on a curriculum around it for more formal social interactions. And we were really happy to be able to fund the event and make a difference. So thank you guys for always being a part of providing those kinds of events. Now we'll jump into ride marshals. Similar to chase cars, familiarize yourself with everything in the ride guide. Familiarize yourself with the route. When you're out on your bike, you don't want to have to be worrying about how to answer questions. You want to already kind of have answers at the top of your brain. Teach safety and support, particularly early in the ride. Teach people how to use hand signals, how to communicate as riders. Teach them what to be thinking about, what to be looking for. If somebody's tired, needs help, make sure that you're being supportive. But for a lot of our riders, this is their first large cycling event. It's their first endurance event. They need a lot of support, and they also need somebody to help teach them kind of different things in group riding, slowing, and communicating as we go. Really try to be supportive, not just when you're out on your bike in the middle of the road, but also as you stop at rest stops. If you saw someone struggling, they can help if they have any questions. If you saw someone whose tempo is, maybe trying a little bit too hard on a segment, go over and, ask them if they have any questions about, how to make the event easier. Not just when you're on your bike, when you're at those rest stops, is a great time to engage. And finally, make sure, as I said, you have turn signs out there. We have cue cards, but online GPS systems, you kind of can't beat for making sure everybody is comfortable, with the route and with where they're going. What you'll have, we'll provide you with some spare tubes, some snacks, probably an extra shot or two of Motive Pure, and a helmet cover. We will not be giving you kind of a binder to take with you. So make sure that you read through kind of all the procedures beforehand. What you should bring, any CO2 cartridge, hand pump that you have, any bike tools you have, and any small first aid items. We will have some of those for you at the start, but if you have some that you're used to cycling with, we always recommend that you bring your own. If you have any questions on ride marshaling, feel free to type those in now. Another impact slide we have here, one thing we're really proud of with our event. Every t-shirt that you get, if you are at our start or finish line or at some of our major locations, or if you volunteer somewhere else and you come to any of those, we'll try to get everybody a volunteer shirt throughout the day. Every t-shirt that we print, all small promotional items that we have, are produced at Spectrum Design, which employs over 80% individuals on the autism spectrum. They do incredible work. If you're ever doing an event that you need to order t-shirts for, any other things for, please make sure that you give them a chance. For our start, be informed. Make sure that you're reading up on the event. Ask questions when you get there. Those events are, a little more fast-paced and a little bit longer in duration. So make sure that you're trying to be consistent, even as you have friends come over and talk or distract you. Try to really kind of stay engaged with the tack that we give you, and be ready to work. If you're at one of those locations, you'll typically have a variety of tasks, from checking people in to helping load a van. So again, make sure that you're wearing appropriate clothing. Our starting line in DC, is at Gonzaga College High School. We'll have volunteers check people in. We'll both have a speed check-in line for people that already have their packets, where you just have to cross off their numbers as they show up, and we'll have a packet pickup line for people that need their entire packet. So please be mindful of that if you're volunteer there. We do have bathrooms. If you need parking, you can park kind of in the area. We also have discounted parking at Union Station. A lot of you will be helping with bag drops, making sure people's tires are pumped up, food, and things of that nature. Starting line will open at 4, so if you're volunteering at the start line, we ask that you get there before 4 o'clock, and the ride will start promptly at 5. Similarly for Maryland, starting lines at Francis Scott Key Elementary and Middle School. Starting line opens at 4, ride starts at 5, so please try to get there before 4. And they'll have similar check-in in packet pickup situations, food, bike racks, and equipment. The Bay Bridge transfer is a large event for us. All of our participants get on buses to go over the Bay Bridge. All of our volunteers help man food stations there, check people in, and they also help load trucks. So everybody will get, as riders come in, volunteers will assign them to a truck. We'll have, typically 4 volunteers with each truck, one taking the bike from the participant, handing it up to the person on the truck. That person will walk it to the back of the truck, and one person will be putting the moving blanket on the bike, and another will be placing it. We try to put a moving blanket on every 2 to 3 bikes, to prevent any scratching and movement throughout the truck ride. So if you are in one of those trucks, please gently put moving blankets on. We'll all be on site there at the Bay Bridge, so you don't need to worry too much about all of those details, but just wanted to kind of give you a quick overview. A lot of you will be on the far side of the Bay Bridge as well, doing unloading. Similarly, the truck will arrive, take the moving blankets off the bikes. They'll all be numbered. Call out the number, and the participant should be there to receive the bike. At the finish line, we have the Dewey Beach line, the parking lot. There we'll be checking in riders, letting them put their bikes on bike racks. North Beach is kind enough to have a barbecue for us and a champagne toast. So we'll direct some riders over there throughout the day, trying to, let riders know that, a focal point of that is kind of our group picture at 5:45. We have, boardwalk showers, a little privacy, but a great rinse and opportunity to kind of put on a little bit of clean clothes. At the finish line, we'll use some volunteers to help coordinate the bus home and make sure that we have all the participants that we need. If you are driving there, we ask that you do park off-site. There's very limited parking there, and we want to make sure that we have space for all the bike racks and cyclists as they come in. For the bag drop, we'll have roughly 600 bags. We'll organize those by numbers and try to get those back to people as they come. There'll be a DJ, there'll be the finish line arch, a lot of things going on, a lot of great energy, really celebrating a lot of people's accomplishments that they finally make it down there. It's a great opportunity for you to congratulate people, to do a little bit of work, and please, again, try to be as consistent as possible, both celebrating people's accomplishment, but at the same time being mindful of the tasks that we need you, to be working on. A lot of it, the finish line will also be placing bikes in certain subgroups, which they'll be marked for, whether it's bikes going back to storage, bikes going on the DC bus home, Baltimore bus home, or that riders are responsible for. Again, we'll be on site for those locations, so we can definitely run through a lot more of the details, but wanted to give you a general overview. That's it for the presentation. I always end on this slide. It motivates me every time I read it and see it, along with those other impact slides. It reminds me how critical our partners are to, helping all these individuals and families and moving the cause of autism and intellectual developmental disabilities forward. They do great work with providing direct services, pushing the research, pushing the advocacy for us. And ultimately we do it for the parents and the families in the future that, make those lives a little bit brighter, help people get a little bit closer to their potential, and support them so that they can reach that, because we all need a little bit of support. And, as a larger Bike to the Beach community, we're really grateful that we get to be a part of that ecosystem that hopefully makes the life a little bit easier and provides a little bit of support so that somebody else can have a remarkable life as well. Now we'll open it up to questions and answers. Feel free to type those into the group chat. Saw some great ones coming across as we went. But please don't hesitate to ask. We'll leave this open until we answer all the questions or it starts to slow down. For those of you that would like to hop off, feel free to. really recommend that you join our Facebook group to get some updates before the event. Make sure that you sign up as a formal volunteer at www.biketothebeach.org for your location, so that any last minute or event changes come through that you are in the communication stream for. Please come, with a lot of excitement, a lot of energy. We have a great opportunity, to make a huge impact, for all lives touched by autism. Thank you all so much. Feel free to hop off as you go. Thank you for joining us. We'll stay on here and answer some of these questions as they come in. Reading these last few that came in, we had a question about rest stop themes for different rest stops. Typically, rest stops have themes if you are there with a group, whether it's our local nonprofit partners or teams or clubs, whoever is the leader of that group that has been kind of coordinating with us, typically picks or designates the theme that they like, that they feel is accessible to the group. So that's up to you guys. You can choose it. Not all rest stops have themes. You do not need to have a theme, but it definitely adds a little bit extra life to the event. Well, thank you all for joining us. Really look forward to sharing another Bike to the Beach with those of you that have helped us before, meeting all of you that are new, and putting on a great event to impact all those lives touched by autism. It really is not possible without you all coming and being a part of it. The volunteers are a critical backbone of what we do. Thank you for taking the time to put yourself out there, and really look forward to putting on a great event. Thank you guys for making it happen.